What's up, everyone? Welcome to another edition of the Sarlacc Digest, a podcast bringing line talk and digesting Star Wars topics over 1,000 years. This is episode 287, being recorded on December 11th, 2024. I'm your host, Darth Moocher. I've got Scott Solo.
What's up, nerds?
I've got Grand Almo Franz.
Hi.
Hey.
There you go.
Easy there, easy.
Well, I didn't move no more than twice around playing with yourself.
Yeah, exactly. Well, before we get into all the great stuff that we've got to cover, because there are some cool stuff, and then there are some very smelly things going on. So I don't know. We'll see in a minute. What do I mean by that? Well, you'll see. If you're already in here, hit that like button because you're going to like this episode. Hit that subscribe if you haven't. So before we get into it all, Scott Solo, our Shadow Council, go hype it up. Because we've got plans for next year to really bring that Shadow Council into Lightspeed. So
we do. And hey, special thanks and a shout out to all of our Shadow Council members. That's AJ from the Forbidden Panel, Brandon and Anya Epler, Brian C., Cliff, Commander Bly, Crystal E., Don the Dad Dorn, Eric Grubb, Gavin Connor from the Holy Hour All Cure podcast, Justin the Vanilla Thunder, Mervine Bolanos, Matt Logic, Muftak is back, Obi-Wan Kenobi, Ryan, and the Star Joes podcast. If you want to join our Shadow Council, just scan that QR code right there or visit patreon.com/Sarlacc Digest podcast. And you guys, believe it or not, you got a message from our pit droid this morning. SD17 wants to know what your favorite things in Star Wars were this year. So for just log on to Patreon, put that information underneath that category, and we'll share your thoughts in our end of year spectacular, which is next week already. What the heck?
Yeah, one more show and then a couple week break, and then we're back to finalize Skeleton Crew and everything else that's going on, especially any news.
We're taking a break during Skeleton Crew.
I guess. I mean, I'll podcast. I don't care. Like,
we'll have to see how the episode goes.
Yeah, this is a week by week basis.
Yeah, let's play like that because I have a feeling some crazy shit will happen that week, and we'll be like, no, we can't let that sit.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah,
I promise you, if it really goes down, then I will. It's happening.
For sure.
All right, so everybody's being digested in a pit. Needs a proper shout out too, of course.
You got
not
it.
First, any Commander Bly slipping.
Oh my gosh!
Slipping, Hal Runner base on fire with the first comment.
And then we got Commander Bly in there with us, dedicated to killing East Coast Thursday morning productivity.
Yeah. You had to work. We got you.
We got Rhino Hobbies in there. We've got, let me see, there's a bunch of messages from Sarlacc Digest because I can't quite figure out how to Discord.
For some reason, Discord is giving me a paragraph versus a link. So I have to figure that out. Sorry.
Don the Dad Dorn's in there. We've got Gavin Connor hanging out in there. We've got Hal Runner Base, Rhino Hobbies. And wow, man. Yeah, so anybody else in there wants to get a shout out, just say hello.
Yes. So before we break down Skeleton Crew, episode 3 that dropped. By the way, I'm very pleased about that episode, but
just keep doing it like that, right? It's nice.
Yeah, exactly.
This is nice.
Exactly. Douglas Tupper checking in. Sorry guys, I'm a little click happy there. Yeah, how were there? John Graber, the Space Jockey. Good evening, gentlemen. Really enjoying your streams. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. We're here for you. We're here to talk Star Wars. So what was the actor's name that plays in The Bear? Justin White something or like?
Yeah, that guy.
Okay. You know him if you've seen him. I guess it was confirmed that he has a part in the Mandalorian and Grogu movie, right? And I was just like, fist pump because I like him. I think he's a perfect fit for Star Wars. When we see, very talented actors, we want them a part of Star Wars, right? But then, and then the other half of the news is who he's playing. Rumored again. I don't know if it's 100% confirmed, whatever. But do you guys remember Stinky? Do you know who Stinky is? Anybody?
Jabba the Hutt.
Yeah. So Jabba the Hutt's son in the Clone Wars movie. Before the series came out, they had this atrocious movie come out. That little Stinky was had to be rescued by Ahsoka and all that stuff in the movie and everything. So it's rumored
Sky Guy, Stinky, just all sorts of mess.
Just so bad. Well, it's rumored that he's playing that character, voicing obviously. I go, well, what a throwaway for an actor then. Like that's a throwaway to me. First of all, Stinky's just as bad as Jar Jar Binks.
Worse than any of it, to be honest.
Yeah,
I don't mind Jar Jar. What's the point of? I mean, being a Star Wars character is cool, but you want to be like recognizable a little bit. He's gonna have to speak. Yeah. I would think Huttese. I don't want to hear a Hutt speaking English.
That's my fear. Because why would you have? Go ahead.
I was gonna say we had Zero the Hutt who spoke horrible English.
Yeah,
but it kind of fit in that cartoon realm.
Yeah, Zero is one of those characters you want to throw away too.
Yeah.
I agree, but I mean it's cool. But number one, you've got to be voice modulated. He might be speaking, Huttese instead of English. I hope he's speaking Huttese. Well, we seem to have a problem with aliens not speaking their own language in Star Wars.
Well, yeah, it's that we said that I think we are. Collectively for that immersion, having subtitles and maybe just like Chewie and Han, Han understands everything Chewie's saying and doesn't have to speak back. You know what I mean? But yeah, like I'm all for the Hutts too. I want Hutts in every. I love the Hutts. I think they're great. They proved it in Book of Fett. It worked, and even in Clone Wars, I liked it. The Council, everything that they did, right? But having an actor like this and then said like modulate his voice to speak Huttese doesn't make any sense to me at all. It's like a throwaway use for that actor. You know what I mean? So again, rumor.
I guess what's more important now, we're talking about just the character being Stinky, right?
Yes.
But I guess what's more important is where would the story go,
right?
If we had the son of Jabba, right?
I'm thinking we're going in the realm of Dark Empire where the Hutts actually put a bounty on Leia, right? So who are they going to go to? They're going to go to a bounty hunter. They're going to try and get Din Djarin to bring in Leia, or some of the other bounty hunters out
the
there.
Hutt Slayer, right?
The Hutt Slayer, right? Because that was the
That'd
whole
be
thing.
awesome,
in Dark Empire 1, they were being pursued by Boba Fett and Bossk and Dengar. You know, it's possible.
If anything I've learned at this point is they're going to make it their own story in Disney, right? And they're going to use the characters that are less original characters and more their newer Ahsoka type stuff, right? So I think they're probably going to do something like that, I bet you, but adjust it with different characters. Make it go after Sabine or some shit.
It'd be a perfect. Oh, hey, what's up, Shadow Nose? What's up, Alex? I think it's Alex. You know, it is a perfect opportunity to bring back Dengar, though, but that seems to be like you're saying. We're not seeing those legacy characters.
Dengar, but it would be somebody that looks just like it'll be revert Ragad.
We've had that whole set of bounty hunters. Almost right,
basically.
Like even 4 LOM is up there.
Yeah.
Right? And it wasn't
100%.
Like, come on.
I don't know. How old would Rudda be?
So we're talking, damn, dude,
30,
24.
Well, he was how old in that Clone Wars movie?
A baby, but who knows?
Yeah, who knows? In 5 years, could have been as old as Grogu, like how Runner said, right?
Yeah.
Could be.
How old was Jabba?
We've got a teenager.
700? I forget.
I believe that's.
I think
in Legends, Jabba the Hutt was.
I don't know.
500-600 years old, I believe.
It was pretty old. Yeah.
What's up, Crooked Smile? Checking in. Yeah, interesting, right? If it does age that much, then he's still going to be a baby at this point. You know what I mean? It's not going to be a full-grown Hutt. If we're going with like that, you know how Hutts age, right? It's not going to be 30 years is nothing. You know what I mean? So, this is okay. So the Mando Grogu movie is a Favreau joint with Filoni, obviously, close to it and all that thing. I think, right? And it is a Favreau / George Lucas creation. That if it's a cameo, it's a cameo. That's one thing. But again, how our heads think and how everybody else does, it's like.
I see Clone Wars fitting in the realm of what they want to stick with, right? Because they've done other Clone Wars stuff in Disney, so I can see that fitting. I just see anything that based around anything with Ahsoka in that world that she ever touched would be a game. Outside of that, just seems like it's not.
Yeah. Commander Bly. If they do live, if Jabba is like 500-600 years, then they would be close to Yoda species.
It means that there's an age differently. Like Grogu's 50, but still babbling.
Right. Like Stinky still being this 30 years later, still being Stinky.
Or is he like an adolescent or a teenager or something?
That would be a super waste.
When I said I like Hutts, I don't like. I mean, as a gangster sitting on a throne kind of stuff. Not
We've also had some ridiculous looking Hutts in the comic books. Where there was one in particular that looked like he had Hulk arms. And we've had some absolutely ridiculous looking Hutts. So who the hell knows what we're in for, right?
Yeah, we're sitting here looking at Jabba like he's the pinnacle of Hutt peak performance.
You're right. You're right.
They all look different. Yeah,
and what does Favreau give us? And Filoni have been giving us variations of the species, no matter like the Trandoshans are completely different, from each other, right? And all the other species. So I wouldn't put it past it to have like a different version of a Hutt. But again, I'm going by like what we have: Jabba, the twins, even Gardula the Hutt. It's like
they all look similar. So.
Just like different tattoos and stuff like that. And they're a crime family. So anyway, it's interesting news that we're getting it. I did hear that the movie was done filming, like it's absolutely wrapped this time.
Principal photography is done.
And Filoni has now turned his attention on Ahsoka season 2. There's some, there were some snippets that came out, little clips here and there, which I'm excited because he's excited. When Dave Filoni gets excited, that's when we go like, okay, well, he's in the zone, right? And they had one thing for Stevenson, Balin. They had one thing about like such hard shoes to fill. It was on YouTube Shorts, and I saw it. And Filoni and Favreau were talking about him and how it's going to be a tough shoes to fill and what he brought to the role. So, so now it's like, okay, here's the movie handed off the post. Let's go to Ahsoka too, right? So
some of the comments I've been seeing online regarding his statement was, it's taking me so long to get through Ahsoka because I'm writing the entire season. And then I've been seeing a lot of comments from people saying, well, that's great. This time it won't suck. And it's like, he wrote the entirety on his own of last season too.
Right.
Season 1 is all day. What the hell are you guys watching that we're not?
I liked Ahsoka a lot. And maybe it's the Sabine part of it that's the one thing that if I had to like really,
honestly, that's my grr for that series is Sabine's force powered, but I mean, how they're doing it now.
They telegraphed it, then they did it, and we go, okay, well, we're in on it now. We're in.
Let's go. You have to be, right? You have to be, and it goes back to, again, when we were kids, and you first meet Luke. It wasn't about midichlorians. It's about this guy who you have a power that this strange mystical power. You can learn to use it, that type of thing. Telling Leia that same type of thing. So I guess we've taken it, and George's fought with the midichlorians and things too.
Yes.
But we've also taken it to this mystical place where only these magical people can have it.
Well,
and I think we dig ourselves a hole. I do
absolutely.
All the time, so.
We do, and again, I think it's it's funny how we all grew up with Star Wars, and we all kind of had that same. We all know the story goes on, but we also have some sense of different ideas on how Star Wars Galaxy works in our own minds, right? So, and then when Disney does it, when I'm going to say that when the new Lucasfilm Disney does it, that's the conflict, because they have their own version, which works in their world, right? It just might not work in everybody else's headcanon and everything else, how it goes. Like, to me, not everybody could be special in the Star Wars world, right? Like when they had these talks about like, oh, Han Solo might have the Force, or Wedge Antilles might. I'm like, why can't they just be good pilots, good shots? Han Solo's lucky. You know what I mean? He's the domino from into the Star Wars. He's a lucky. He talks his way out of it. He gets lucky.
And just gets his way. That's it. It's just
I love it.
Yeah, I don't want any force power.
Right. Exactly. And that's the part of it where you can introduce a bunch of characters, and we'll talk about this with Skeleton Crew too, right? Because it did come up with this in this episode about using the Force and even what's her name, Fern, said, well, KB must have it because she sensed a droid coming. And that's what I was in my head going like, see, that's the problem, where you could just pluck someone out of the audience and say, you have the Force now.
Yeah.
And if
I took that as tongue in cheek because she saw it. I did too. He did, but yeah, I did too.
I was hoping like that's tongue in cheek. No.
Yeah.
And it's not because I don't want Force users in Star Wars. That's not it. It's the fact that
it can't be everybody.
It's got to be special.
Yeah.
It's got to be.
I always say what Syndrome said in The Incredibles, right? If everybody is super, nobody is.
Yeah.
And stop giving them all the Force, because then nobody is special. That's the whole thing. Yeah,
Bly. Sabine, Force story was out of left field. I guess it helped to explain how she was prototype girl, Boss Ray, though. Yeah, what they did is
she had training.
She had training, and it was explored even in Rebels. It was explored, kinda. It was she was trained like she was a Jedi, but not without Force. That's what Kanan was doing, and now
it was trying to get her to use the tools that she had, since she was, as he put it, terrible at this.
Yeah.
So, she'd used her grapples.
And how the Force flows through. It's all that I accept. I accept all that, because there is even when Luke and I'll get on Skeletor, I promise. But when Luke sensed his friends getting tortured in Cloud City, he felt that. That was the ripple in the Force. He felt that. So Han Solo's anger or pain rippled through that, so Luke can sense it. But it wasn't, and to me, it's like not because Han used the Force to reach out. You know what I mean? So the energy about everything, living creatures and objects, you just have to tap into it. And George Lucas made it the midichlorians that gave you the ability to tap into it versus something that you were maybe born with. So
damn it, George.
Shadow knows. As much as everyone has some issues with Star Wars writing, it's very rare to have one writing voice for an entire season. Yeah, I mean, Filoni might be the person pen to paper. I'm sure he consults, and I'm sure that he has a broad encyclopedia of people around him and literature, and he's very Star Wars savvy that he can know if something doesn't fit or not.
He would know right away. He wouldn't have to look up too much besides a name or spelling here and there, right?
If someone gave him an idea, he would know if it worked or not. Just like how we do it. It's like we can maybe headcanon it to work, but if it doesn't,
but we need the three of us to say, does that fit? Does that fit? Does that
right?
fit?
It has to immediately that can work, right?
Yeah.
So yeah. And see, that's how Runner doing it again. Rada could be force sensitive. Who knows? Commander Bly, speaking of that, Mooch, I love the quick rundown the kids do on the ways you can fake the force. Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
How do you fake the force?
I'm getting into the. We're going to get into because I'm going to say this. This episode 3 is my favorite of the 3 so far. And I'm hoping that every episode that drops is going to be my favorite one. And it is a lot to do with basically that, where it's given us those questions of, when people say bad writing out there, right? And if they left it open, then I can say, you know what, that why are they leaving these things open of grabbing the keys and escaping, and why didn't he escape? Well, they address it, and I love the fact that the show has that attention to detail. Where they go, all right, I know people are going to ask this, even though it was a cliffhanger, we're going to answer this in maybe a roundabout way, but it's still going to be answered. We're like, all right, cool. At least the characters are aware of this, just like we are as viewers are aware of it. You know what I mean? And so I'm glad that the kids questioned, hey, if you could have grabbed those keys this whole time, why didn't you do it? And I was like this, it's like, and then
Filoni has a really good way about doing that to us, because he thinks like we do. So he's probably doing an episode, watching it back or going back. He's all, okay, now what are these jackasses going to ask?
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm going to hit it immediately. Because that how many times that happened in Mandalorian or something where we kept watching, we're like, shit, didn't they just answered our whole week's of
They did. And it's almost on purpose, right? They don't answer in that same episode. It's the next episode where you'll get that answered, or like I said, a roundabout way of a possible solution. Okay, got it. I get it. That was cool.
That's Mando, because I don't think Boba answered any question.
No, I know.
I was never okay the next week.
I was never okay. Yeah. And I think, like I said, that's where I feel comfortable moving forward with the Skeleton Crew like that, because they do address these things and they do kind of like put it together. And even so much like, okay, you have a bunch of kids that got taken away in a starship, and the parents, like it's, and sometimes shows don't go back to this like panic. Oh crap! Like our kids are gone. We don't have that panic, right? Like for example, the Goonies. We didn't see that panic until the end. Oh my God, they're safe. There was nothing about it. At least, like I said, I like the fact that we addressing it. What they're doing on At-Aten, what the parents are doing now. They're getting together and talking. They're like, oh,
and they're helpless.
And they're helpless. Yeah,
that's kind of the point to that open, right? Was they're beyond the barrier. Nothing we can do. We can't make contact. You don't have a ship. They can't.
Yeah. And then you see, like, I like Wim's father's face. He was just kind of like staring off, like numb.
He took his glasses off, like he's really thinking about. He has something up his sleeve. He's got a way to get out.
Yeah.
He'll be the only one that goes, but he's got a way off planet.
Yeah. Where's Neil's dad though? Well, he's working. He wouldn't be bothered by it. He's got 3 other kids.
Bunch of latchkey kids.
He's got 3 other kids. The other ones are sold.
Neil's mom was giving him drinks, right? And giving Wim's
They must
dad.
have been at her house.
So
they've been at Neil's house then, right? Maybe.
Too many kids to be carting around. Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah, that you know what? And that's probably still my only issue though. Is even when I go back to that scene, and I started on Suburbia. I'm all gross.
Something. After this comment, it's funny. Commander Blight, being Disney show, what are the odds all parents die? Well, they would have died at the beginning. They would have died at the beginning, and then that would You know, so as I'm watching Scott, every time they show it, I cringe for Chris. It's like Chris is not gonna like that. So I'm just like I'm into the I'm buying into it, whatever. And I know you are too. And exactly. But every time I see it, I almost go like, stop showing it. Stop it.
Don't bring me back to this godforsaken planet. Leave me on the pirate planet. Leave me on Observatory Moon. Leave me on all these cool places with the cool backdrops. Leave me in these cool places, not Earth.
Yeah. Well, this episode did some great, again, leaving the station and going to another location. I love that because how the other shows we were always stuck on like Tatooine for Kenobi.
We're about to bounce week to week, right? We're about to go Mandalorian, adventure of the week. Yeah, and if we don't hit Batuu, it's a huge miss again. This agree. Is a perfect show for ending up on Batuu.
I agree.
Yeah. Then you go though from being on an Earth-like planet to a place that's actually on Earth.
On Earth, yeah.
But that's the immersion we're supposed to get from that place.
Very true.
Yeah, right. That's what you talking about is on Earth. I know when we go through that little tunnel, we're on Batuu. They tell us that there's different music.
Yep, it does. It shifts.
This guy, bright suns, your ass.
Nice. We got 212 Hunter checking in. He's talking toys and stuff. We'll get to the toys and everything, but Plo Koon, Clone Wars Gauntlets, and Tease Wolf and Stinker, and Sinker. Hot Toys is at the top of their game. That's all I gotta say. You know what I mean? And we'll get into that stuff too. But the change of scenery was very welcomed. I love it, and the whole sequence of them escaping. And let's talk about Jod Nanarwood. So. The way he said it was Nanarwood was his last name, and Jod, so. But it's so funny, and I love how coy he's being with the kids. They think he's Jedi because of Force and all that.
Not anymore.
Like, not anymore. But at the first, and he's just like, sure, and
sure, of course.
And I don't think that I said that, but oh well. And there was some sort of
he never did
some sort of familiar tones to it, but at the same time, and. I love the fact that he's like, I never said I was a Jedi. You know what I mean? He's just
his little wisdom sounding things were cheap wisdom sounding things. Yeah. They weren't Yoda quality. They weren't even Mace Windu quality. They were very much the Force is in all of us.
Yeah, the fortune cookie type.
That's it. Trust your gut.
Yeah. Trust your gut. Yeah,
trust your gut. What's the Force telling you? Come on, man. Work this out.
Yeah.
He said the Force provided.
Yeah. He's like playing the role
that they expect him.
Yeah, it is playing. He's playing a character to just get go. Let's go. I
want him to run to the dude we saw in Obi-Wan, but just older. What's his name?
Raj.
Yeah.
Raj. What's his name? Raj. Kaja.
Yeah. That's it. Raj. That would be Big Bang. My bad.
Yeah, no, Raj. Kuthapali? He runs into Kuthapali.
Yeah, it's a Kuthapali.
don't it's possible.
That'd be awesome.
He's not dead.
Exactly. I freaking love Smee. I love SM33.
I love this. My theory went out the window.
Yeah. I love the scene where he's talking to Jod and he's pointing at him. I love that. Chest. He's like, ow.
Yeah, and like he's all.
And he says, "I." And he walks away and he walks back in camera.
I love how he stood up on him to make him so he knows I'm bigger than you, dude. Let's not think I'm some old cranky droid that I'm an old cranky droid. But reminded him.
I like the fact that this droid became the kid's protector. And especially they went and they told him to go get SM33 back and all that stuff, and now he's like that protector stands at the doorway. He's like, don't you mess with them, right?
Don't touch my captain.
Yeah, I'm digging this dynamic, and I still love how all four kids have their personalities, and it's not just a bunch of kids in space anymore. It's or not even anymore. It's just like I love the fact like. Wim and Fern are having the conflict, but it's still fun. It's still some fun banter, so there is, like the two leader types.
I like that the three are stressing and Wim is not.
Yeah.
Wim is all in this whole thing. He's like, I want to fly the ship. I want to be the captain. And so the look on his face after she got to go up in the turret
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And she looked freaked out. He got to the turret, didn't have to say a word to himself.
Yep.
He smiled, nodded, and jumped in like excited. Wim is everybody here that wants to just play, right? And he just wants to be in this adventure.
He
and
knows
enjoy
like
everything. And
he's like,
else is freaking the fuck out.
There's nothing at home for me. He's the dreamer. He's the Luke Skywalker, right? He's that the thing that's why the show relates to a lot of people. You know, it's the one that
has
off.
responsibilities.
Yeah, he doesn't want that. He just like Neil said, why did you tell everybody you wanted to be a Jedi? He's like, I didn't say that. He goes, kind of did. You know, it's like, yeah. And so he's in on this adventure, even though like it's dangerous, right? He's shooting at X-wings eventually.
Which is funny, right? We've got our hero shooting at X-wings. And happy they hit it.
Yeah,
like got it, and it didn't blow up, nothing like right. Which is like, you're like, what happens if they get one? They
were calling them Kim's goons too. Oh, those are her goons, so they're shooting at the goons.
Yeah. Commanded by SM-33, instant classic character. Droids make or break Star Wars a lot, you know. And
SM-33, Neil, and now Kim. They've done really well with these characters in this one, because I think Kim was a pretty cool.
It was really cool.
And that whole setup she was on the moon, herself, it was neat. So
like
Agra from the Dark Crystal, right? And not the setting did, not herself, although she was like the wise one that knew. You know,
what the archives. This is the It's almost how like I was expecting Maz Kanata, just because of who they were calling and pirates and all that stuff, right? You know, and but it's almost like that setting where Maz is the watering hole, and everybody goes and they share the stories, and she has this treasure trove downstairs and whatever she does. But this is like I said, the space owl. She
was a pirate queen, so she's around somewhere doing something. But the space owl is just an observer.
It makes total sense for them to visit Maz Kanata on her castle in this show. It absolutely would make sense to introduce Maz into the canon through this show.
Yeah.
Yep. Again, it makes too much sense, right? To go there, to go to Batu, to connect
that's
all
where
these.
Hondo would be.
Plus, it would be cool. Yeah. And today's hint on Hondo was Jod was wearing Han pants and a Lando shirt.
Sure was.
Mix them up. It's Hondo. Just letting you know it's coming.
Just letting you guys know.
Yeah, I shipped his clothes into Hondo, and it's happening.
Yeah, I'm so funny.
They're gonna meet him on Batu, and he's gonna take them to Maz.
Yeah,
it'll just be one big, like the Wizard of Oz. You start picking up people as you go.
Right. You know? Well, it's like what Rebel Moon tried to be, but then all fell apart at the end. I don't know why I brought it up. I'm sorry, but
I brought them all to you. All the 5 people that could win this entire war.
Commander Bly, Han don't.
It was a dumbass movie.
Yeah,
Han don't. Han do. Han will.
Yeah. Kim is easier on the eyes.
In Agra, yes, very much.
Yeah. But like Jude Law's character and what he did and he brought and how he performed, even like I said, with the joy of poking him and stuff. And I bought into exactly who he is, even though there's still some mystery and whatever. But the fact that it's like in my head, I'm like, all right, he waited for his shot. You know, he's like, where am I supposed to go? I leave this, the brig, and then where am I going to go? I have no place. I have no ship, whatever. And you guys came along, and now I've got a thing, and now we're going. And the fact that he's just like, all right, let's go. And the kids are like, go get my droid. We need our droid. And so he does feel for a little bit, almost like a protector, but at the same time, there is some inward motivation for him, some selfish.
Well, he needs his kids to cooperate.
Yes,
is part of it, right? They have all the power right now, so for the most part, but he has a blaster and he's an adult. I mean, but if he was a true criminal, he would just left the kids there and took off and stuff. Yes,
so again, and that makes you because there was one part in there where they did mention a Jedi, kind of stuff, and he had that like, almost like, well, this is what like he understood that a Jedi would have saved those kids. And not being like, okay, I'm a pirate, I'm doing these things, but at the same time, I had this old life that I knew where my morals were. You know what I mean? And
And we don't even know really what his life was, right? This whole pirate thing, this Captain Silvo stuff nonsense that came up, right?
Yeah.
So he's got Captain Silvo Crimson Jack, and Jod. Right, Jod, I think is his real name. The Crimson Jack and the are other things. So he's not just a pirate. I think the Crimson Jack is a scoundrel type, Han type of thing, right? Like more so.
Crimson Jack is kind of like what was the pirate captain from Princess Bride? What was I forget right off the top of my head what they called him?
Dread Roberts.
Dread Roberts. I get a feeling it's more of a Dread Roberts kind of thing with this Crimson Jack because there is a character called Crimson Jack in Star Wars canon comic books that does not look a damn thing like
really.
Jod. Yeah, it's I'll see if I can bring up an image of it, but
he could just be pulling an Ezra here too.
Could be.
Yeah,
could be.
I'm Jabba the Hutt, you know.
If he was Silvo, but they never called him Crimson Jack. So the Brutus and all the pirates are calling him.
They know
Silvo.
him as Silvo. They didn't call him
calling him Crimson Jack,
right.
And then he introduced himself as Jod. That's interesting. So yeah, maybe,
that's Crimson Jack.
I mean, in a former life, he could have just shaved.
Yeah. I mean, just shaved his face. Yeah,
it's kind of there.
Maybe.
What's the story on Crimson Jack in Wikipedia?
In Wikipedia, I'm not going to read all that shit. I don't remember. It's been years since I've read this because I mean he came from a Legends comic, but then he came up in canon as well. So,
well, shoot.
Well. This again,
nicknamed Redbeard by Han Solo, was the pirate master of a gang of space pirates which operated in the Outer Rim. Although originally using gunships to carry out their raids, the pirate gang eventually discovered a crippled Imperial cruiser, and they used that. All right. Well, I mean, that could be that works fine. Yeah.
Yeah. Jude was originally supposed to wear a wig, but he refused, according to Commander Bly. No.
Maybe was it red hair and
because there's not a whole lot red going on with him. Red to be Crimson Jack, it's got to be like a jacket or something. Because
as much as they
wearing a red jacket,
as much as they pay attention to details and Easter eggs and all that stuff through so far and all that stuff, you would think that knowing that a Crimson Jack does exist in canon, that's if there's no tie in there, I'd be shocked. You know what I mean? Again, because the only person that called him that was the owl.
Yeah, like there'd be no reason to do that.
Right.
You call it Captain John.
He could have been he could have been Silvo to her of all they and just left it at that. But having those three names, there could be something there. So and Crimson Jack could be a moniker. You know what I mean? It could be like a title.
That's what it all is. He just making shit up.
I'm Crimson Jack now, right?
He hustles his way into every job, and that's he explained to the kids. I'm lost. I'm a loner, right? Trying to find my way. Type. But no, is that the real him?
I don't think he's opened up. I don't think we know yet. I don't think he's opened up at all. We've got 3 versions of this dude, and I don't think anybody really knows.
I think that was a touch right there because he was under a lot of stress. Right, yeah. Like stress, freaking out, couldn't think of anything in the split second, and said, "I'm just like you." I don't know if that part was forced. I think that part was like him coming through,
let his guard down a little bit.
I'm just, I was a lost kid like you. This is how I make my way.
Could be,
could be. Could tie back into Order 66 too. I mean, he really could be a former Jedi Padawan that was lost and took up this way of life.
Right?
Yeah. Right. And what did he say about the droids? The droids will always let you down.
Oh, they did.
You can't trust. Just kind of like Din. I was thinking that, so that came up too. But same feeling that Din had. So he probably was around that time.
Yeah,
he's about.
I love the battle. Yeah, I love the battle droid though. Did we win?
Oh, yeah, that's so
awesome.
Again,
and then fell apart.
And then it fell apart again. Like I said, the amount of Easter eggs the show is promising. Didn't we have in the cell? Wasn't it the creature that sang Jedi Rocks? The alien, wasn't he one of them? Because I remember seeing that in the very start of it. He's like hitting the bars. I have to go back and watch, but I believe that it was that alien, and we had this. Yeah, and we had the Star Speeder, maybe 2,000, 1,000 through whatever, but it was back there if everybody had those keen eyes. So Star Tours visited the sport.
Boga.
Yes, Boga. I'm sure.
Boga.
But wouldn't that be cool if
Borga.
they incorporated Borga? Thank you, and incorporate that into the Star Tours
Borgo.
lineup. You know, we go here.
I was thinking the same thing. There you go. Perfect.
Yeah. I mean, it's that kind of continuity and that kind
and
of.
And then the Ishi Tib was Alfred Molina. Did you know that?
Yeah.
Yeah. That was
pretty cool.
Oh, I didn't know that. Yeah, it was it. Oh.
So they'll bring people in for little cameos.
Like
I was kind of thinking that during the Jabba talk too. They'll bring people in for little stuff.
Yeah. Well,
I think Alfred Molina is a bigger name than the dude we can't remember.
Oh yeah, no, 100%. He's just an upcoming, something that's been in a lot of good stuff lately, and it's just one of those like if you're gonna modulate and do an alien voice, you don't need a star to do it. You know what I mean? You don't need you could just get a voice actor.
But I mean, Alfred Molina was kind of it wasn't exactly easy to tell it was him.
I didn't know until you said it. But I like that character. I like that Ishi Tib.
I thought it was really neat that he sat there and knew the whole time we were just shooting the shit with him.
He's like, yeah,
he has no hostility. I'm gonna tell.
Yeah. I'm just.
You're a better captain than he could ever be, but I'm still gonna rat you out.
Yeah, because you're not the captain.
Exactly. Mando Mike checking in. Just finished the episode.
And he liked it. Great. See, we don't see great episode from Mike all the time. So
no. Yeah, exactly. And again, it shows you where
it's getting everybody right. It's touching everybody in a good way.
It is the people. Okay, the people that are watching it, people are very much enjoying it. But there are some reports that it's not doing good in the ratings. It's not people are not watching it, and I don't know why it's. And I don't think
the reviews are great.
The reviews are fantastic, and again, we're only 3 episodes in, and there's a lot to talk about. There's a lot to still come, and until we put it in its place, but. I get the feeling that people are just not. They're just after the Acolyte. They're just like I'm taking a break and whatever. So maybe it starts to hype still starts to climb more and more and more, and they'll watch it or they're waiting to binge it. I know a lot of people do wait to binge, but at the same time, again, you're dealing with scaredy little mice that are afraid of their shadow. So if you don't give them the support early, and if something you like, they Disney drops in. Not saying that I want a season 2 or whatever. I'm just saying like if they don't think this formula is working on their viewership, then they're not going to take it forward to the next one. They'll try something completely different, and then everybody will be up in arms on it. You know what I mean? And so, again, if you like it, spread the word, watch it, and talk about it. But again, and if you don't like it, same thing. Same thing if you don't.
I think you said, maybe people are waiting to binge it. And I think I'm hoping that maybe that is part of it. This is one of those situations though, where you don't like the Acolyte could have benefited from a binge watch, right? Where you just got everything done and over with. This one, this one feels different, It does. I want to watch the next episode, but I'm excited to watch the next episode, but my like or dislike of the show as a whole does not hinge on the next episode. Oh, how are they going to talk their way out of this? How are they going to get through this situation? I agree. It's like after it's done, you go, that was cool. And you get up and you do your thing. You get up and do stuff around the house. Like that was cool. With other ones, I'm just like, damn, like, okay. I don't know.
How do I explain this? Where could they possibly go to make this work? Because it's not working.
And again, I said this last week where the Skeleton Crew as a whole so far is playing it a little safe. Close, because this is a different kind of adventure. It's the experience that we all like. We woke up one morning and we're in Star Wars and we're thrust into this adventure. Now I'm going to steer the conversation to Atten because we did get a lot of more questions around this planet, what the planet and how it's been hidden this whole time and how they discovered it and as the secret. That's where it's becoming a little bit more complicated and like something is amiss here. I don't know if it's sinister anymore, and I gotta tell you, it's got to be something else. I don't know because they said like they missed the Galactic War, they missed the Galactic Empire. So that was mentioned, at
least that.
But but like Wim has this data pad with all not the Galactic Empire stuff, but knowledge of outside stuff out of their planet. So if it was a planet that just kept it isolated, you think there wouldn't be any like libraries or anything going on.
They knew, but it's everything pre whenever they went hidden. And it's a controlled.
It's a controlled history, right?
Yeah, they're gonna know things about like I said, Coruscant and Alderaan. they're not going to know everything about the Outer Rim, and they're probably in the Outer Rim.
And that's where it's weird, right? Because they go on to tell about like how it's been part of the Republic, and they have, like I said, money might be involved in this whole thing because there was this kind of like tone of like Wim hiding the money from that certain currency from
all of their parents seem to work as analysts dealing with finances. And,
they said like analyzing, you know what I mean? Then it cuts to
all your parents work for the same company is weird, right?
Yes.
So that means that the government just runs everything. So.
Yeah, but it was mentioned that they're trying to find their place in the Great Works and the Republic. And then when Kim questioned this,
for the Republic,
you guys
because the Great Work is for the Republic, so
right.
you're doing one for the greater good.
Right. But the past 20 years, it's been Empire control. 30 years, you know what I mean? So, and they missed it. And it was like I said, Kim said that it's like you missed the whole galactic kind of like influence and what happened, the whole galactic civil war.
Well, think about this. There were 2 wars.
Clone Wars too.
Yeah, there you go. The clone. They're not even thinking Clone Wars.
Everything.
This isn't even when we look at things. We're looking at historically. We're thinking Old Republic, High Republic, New Republic, right? They're in the New Republic. Did they call it the New Republic?
No.
Did
I went back.
They didn't call the High Republic the High Republic during the High Republic,
No.
right? So these guys are really from.
Yeah.
I think way back. This might be the first great work.
Could
for
be.
all we know, that kind of thing. I think when Kim was talking about the Old Republic, she means the Old Republic.
Well, that's where I'm making those mental notes, right? Because we're getting more and more of that kind of like information, because all she mentioned was, oh, so you guys missed the whole empire, like basically the galactic civil war. In that time frame, and it definitely could have just been a planet that was shielded off because of the Empire rising and because of that whole thing. And then because remember, now we're on the we're following the second generation with the kids, first generation being the parents. They could have been hidden too on as far as like, all that stuff. Everything could have been like, there's no old people in this planet so far. You know what I mean? It could have been like this whole controlled thing going on,
I have a thought. I mean, what if they were hidden away during like the Old Republic novels, like the Attack of the Nihil and all that, right? Because the Nihil were essentially marauders, right? They were essentially pirates that were out there pillaging everything. What if the Onyx Cinder is a Nihil raider ship that crashed on this planet, forgotten, but then after the Attack of the Nihil and the Great Works began, that's whenever they shielded it away.
And that's a great. How long ago was that?
That was 300 years prior to Phantom Menace.
We had trees growing on this ship.
Yes.
That wasn't a 20-year-old.
Oh, it was old.
Crash.
It was there a long time.
Yeah, so it was more than
time.
20 years in this last war.
Yeah.
That would totally work. Hey,
and
also what's funny is they chose a set amount of alien species to be on the planet. Right? You have Neels, you have Ithorians, you have some Rhodians, whatever Runa is,
right.
And not many else. And they all speak basic because they all live on that one planet, except the Ithorians can't. Right. So I don't know, and I realized that they've been shielded from everybody else because when they got to the pirate planet, they said, "Oh, aliens, they look weird," right? And I think it was Neil that said it. But they all see each other as normal, right? As like they're the same species.
That's a good point. That's a good, fair.
There's a lot of aliens on
point
this
to
make.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, okay, this is a little out of left field. Don't ever do this. But Neil is not really like Rebo. Is like Rebo, but at some point they mixed. The families mixed. The great grandparent was a human.
Oh, sure.
And that's why he looks a little bit different. But I don't know if they end up doing that. But either way. That's where I was on the alien bit. So.
Yeah, no, good point. Like I said, if it's isolated and you only have, say, 10 species on this planet, you're only going to get this kind of like,
So they come off planet and they're like, whoa.
Wait.
While they're sitting next to an alien who has a crush on another alien.
Yeah.
Mando Mike, I was just going to say, do you think KB is an android? I think Lobot.
Enhanced.
She's like the Lobot. Yeah, enhanced. Droidish or a cyborg, but maybe not a cyborg, just she's got cool toys. You know what I mean? That's how I thought.
Speaking of cool toys, did you guys see that the robot in Wim's house in episode 1 is an old 2XL droid, which I had growing up? That's how I got my love of trivia. It was a little trivia toy that I would play with 8-track tapes.
That's awesome.
It would bust out just random trivia, and you get to answer the questions. And somebody pointed it out, and I'm like, "Oh my god, that's amazing!"
Nice.
Yeah.
No, that's why every spot they even had a new commercial spot. It was like totally 80s with the grainy footage and stuff. I mean, this is Star Wars doing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Did you see the St. Pauli girl in Neil's garage? She's holding 2 beers.
Yeah,
like this, but it's Neil's race. It's his species.
Yes,
on a metal sign in there.
It's so
That's
good.
fantastic.
Episode 1 when he closes his garage.
See what I mean? It's 2 fucking Earth, dude.
Yeah.
2 Earth. The bike helmet.
Of course.
I could buy that bike helmet, dude. Like at Walmart. Dude, it's too close.
Diablo Cooling checking in. I love the Skeleton Crew. I want a season 2. So if people don't like it, to watch it more. I see it on Twitter. The show is so loved from Star Wars fan.
There really is no reason to not like this show. Even my bitch about it is becoming just is because it is.
Well, now you expect it. You know what it is. It's.
And I'm still going to clown it for the next 5 weeks. Yeah. I'm not going to stop every time I see it. But
right? Yeah.
The thing is, it's still a great show. Freaking characters are awesome, top to bottom, every one of them.
Get Neil asleep in his little cot, and his nose whistles, his little trunk whistles every time he snores.
Neil is still the funniest. Like just when
he was underutilized this episode.
Well, his stomach is more of his actions, because like when Jod was eating, Neil's stomach was growling. He's like, yeah,
he got to fly, right?
Yeah, it was definitely it was definitely a KB Jude Law or Nod episode. Episode. It was their time to shine. And again, I was going to bring that point up too, where I didn't want us to see 4 kids and one always taking the back seat. This was they brought her up too in this one too, right? Like the norm. So I like that. So they're all important and they all had a job to do, obviously, and Jod put them all to work. And it
was like being on Smuggler's Run.
Yeah, exactly. 100%. Yeah, with a bunch of kids, you're like, oh god, I'm stuck.
Somebody get out and drive.
Yeah, I'm stuck as an engineer. Just
why is this kid the pilot? Yeah, that's right. Neil was KB was the engineer, 2 gunners, and a pilot.
Yeah,
yep,
yeah, it's great.
Riding it on the ground the whole time.
Who said it? Oh yeah, Hellrunner says his theory: At-Atten is the bankroll for the First Order.
I think I brought that up last week that could be a possibility.
It is. They did focus on money. They did focus on it. There's still the mystery of why At-Atten is important to the pirates. They know the name of the planet. The pirates know the name
because it's part of pirate shanties. She said it.
Right.
It's like it's a treasure island.
But the kids know it as At-Atten. The pirates know it as At-Atten. The archives don't have any record of it, right? When Kim was going through it all, and she had to kind of put the patches and the languages together to say that's the treasure island, the mythos of whatever. But you would think if it was this, I mean, it's truth to legend, right? And now you got proof of it. The kids are from it. Yeah, I don't know. Like almost like I look at those theories and I don't want. Do you guys want it to At-Atten to be like a sinister plot? Or just something that makes
I think it's more important to me to see the pirate stuff play out than the planet. I think the planet being hidden away is the treasure. That's what we're talking about. This is a war. The true treasure is they're at peace. That's they live in harmony. Right.
I could see them having planetary defenses where if the pirates come raiding, that planet's going to wake up, and I could absolutely see the planet being able to defend itself against the pirates.
That could be. But I don't think anything on the planet is nefarious. I don't think the government is bad. We talked about that the first week. Like we kind of thought, oh, maybe because Fern's mom is kind of sus, right? I mean, you're like, okay, I'm not sure if I'm going to trust her. But
the only thing that we can go that direction is the droids and how authoritarian they are. Or how like, hey, you're not supposed to be here. Go home and go to bed. It's curfew. Yeah, blah blah. You know that kind of stuff. You know.
Yeah.
The woman that came in to talk to the class during their right before their test, that wasn't Fern's mom, right?
Yeah.
That was someone else.
Fern's mom.
That was Fern's mom.
Yeah.
Was that Vern's mom?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because she even came back and said, I went to
in
your
that
school. Yeah.
in that moment, she seemed to have a lot of authority. She was very intimidating to the kids.
Yeah, and I thought that's when I see it as authoritative, right? Like we're in control of your life.
Yeah.
Well, basically, she's like, tomorrow it's going to be basically be the beginning of your entire life moving forward. And it's a very important, you know, it reminded me of those assessment tests we took in school.
Remind me of ants. Do you remember ants?
Yes.
Yeah. You're a worker ant.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. I mean, it's a weird system, and that's what I guess makes our radar come up like nefarious, right? Like, okay, something's not right. Okay, so it's hidden. It's hidden on purpose. It's hidden on purpose. They're giving us more of these things, more of those like side eye stuff about like analytics and money, and you're choosing your path, and it's the great works. They're throwing a lot there in. So
the greater good.
Yeah. So the story isn't a very straightforward, you know, the kids get lost to just make your way home. And there's something going to be exposed here. Now, it could be for the good or bad. And like some people in chat are saying, could be bad because the pirates are going to follow them home too. And now you're going to have this planet that's like, everybody's going to know what it is. You know,
well, everybody, as far as a couple pirates.
Well, they're going to follow Jod there. You know what I mean? Like, because
they could be disposed of. The galaxy doesn't have to go.
No, it definitely could. Jod's probably the only one that could probably see it to fruition, right?
Yeah. Or it could take out the barrier and all of a sudden expose them to the galaxy as a whole, you know, and it could happen.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the Bonda's Brittany's checking, and also talking about the supervisor, because the supervisor has been mentioned a few times. Like, we all work for the supervisor, and so that might be the nefarious thing about this planet. Meaning, like, I
like how you skipped over all the bullshit in the comment.
No, I just saw the stuff
because Brittany just went off on a weird
Yoda.
But you grabbed the important part about the
I go Yoda. To me, it's there's a set.
You're good. I just wanted to commend you on it. Well done.
Well, the supervisor is interesting because now it's almost like maybe the supervisor is the nefarious part of it, where the planet eventually can get exposed and be free to join the actual new republic after this kind of stuff. And that might be the whole twist of it, where it's not. So like, again, Wim has this amazing adventure, comes back, and now he's plugged back into my life is already set before me, and I can't, you know what I mean? So maybe this is it's a whole thing to uncover, to where now Wim would be free to like be a Jedi if he wanted, you know what I mean? Or, you know, in that sense, like,
I bet you the supervisor's a droid.
Yeah, it's the man behind the mask. It's gonna be and again, cool. And now you have Onyx Cinder, which was there, and again, to Scott's point, it could be like they said, the Nihil, something like that. But again, it's all piratey. I was noticing like the crew was stabbed again. You know, it was a mutiny inside, or was somebody took over that ship and killed the crew, right? You know, because like even SM-33's eyes out. You know, he's like, he's damaged. He was.
That's what the Nihil do. The Nihil murder each other on a regular basis. So it fits the narrative.
Yeah.
But then again, we're crossing streams again, right? We've got comics and books. You know, we got Crimson Jack from the comics. We've got possible Nihil from the books. We're talking about the great works from the High Republic.
There's a lot, like I said, a lot there, right? They're throwing more. And at the same time, it's a show that's very hitting the beats, hitting every single beat, moving forward. It's moving the plot forward. It's giving us snippets about the kids, the planet, all that stuff, right? So
it keeps it simple, dude.
It does, and I think
we're all not as advanced as we like to think we are. Week, let's watch a show. Us and all fandom, right? Everybody wants to get this nuanced thing. And
You're right.
Be smart enough to catch this and that. This is just right in our face. The big twist about Captain Silva was telegraphed a mile away. We saw it. We got it.
Yeah,
no big deal. No, but if the rest of the show was great, it just keep going along.
Yeah,
plugging away and being
there's
predictable. We'll be fine.
Star Wars, like New Hope. It's simple story.
George
Lucas knew it. Like Empire Strikes Back, simple. Return of the Jedi. It's all simple. It's the extended. It's all this stuff, and then we go by like about who could be a Force user, who doesn't have to admit it. All that stuff. It's very complicated and convoluted, as we all do. But Star Wars on paper works because it's a simple A, B, C story. You know what I mean? Farm boy Luke gets up, gets involved, destroys, and becomes the hero of the day. And then it's like the next chapter is just, he goes to be taught and learns that the bad guy's his dad. He goes confront, it's very 1, 2, 3. You know what I mean? And I think that's why less is more, in a sense, where you start getting this overcomplicated stuff like the Acolyte did, where you're going like, look, man, now you're messing with everything, agree or not agree or whatever. And I think that's, as long as it's not just too simple and it's like,
yeah, this is just beyond like the kids. This is like young adult Star Wars, right? It's just that level, and it works. It just, and to be honest with you, a lot of the young adult books work like that too.
They do.
I was like, oh, that's a really well put together plot. They didn't overthink it. It didn't get convoluted. It played, and you love the characters, and that's all you need.
The kids can watch this and be in like, this is a great adventure and understand it, right? And we can understand it too as where it's going on, and also put it in its place in Star Wars too. What I think what's great about it so far is that a family can watch it, kids, adults, Star Wars fans, somebody that casual fans, and be like, well, that's fun, that's cool. And this is on Disney Plus. It does feel Disney too, but also feels very Star Wars. And where other shows, I don't like, even Book of Fett, I don't think kids would really, they don't get it. Like they don't know who that character is. They don't care what's going on.
And it's not even fun looking because your cool character has his helmet off 90% of the time.
Yeah, I mean, but and there's more to the dialogue than just action and stuff. Like with this, it's like we're learning as the kids learn, the characters in the show learn, and I think that's where it's working. I think that's why it's fitting at this point. Now, moving forward to like a vast, say 10 shows, do you want it all to be like this? And I'm like, no, because shows like Andor still work, and that's a very, again, kids aren't going to watch that, but it works in the Star Wars sense of like being just feeling a different adult Star Wars, so I don't, as much as I do love this one. Of course, I mean, this is the adventure we grew up with, right?
Even without the Force stuff, even without lightsabers, this is the magical stuff.
Oh yeah, no, 100% agree. 100% agree.
Yeah.
I like
they say Onyx Cinder?
Yeah, it's R.I.P. Alderaan. Yeah, they even mentioned it. That's why, because that's what it came up. Like Alderaan, are like, oh, you haven't been here in a while.
Yeah,
like, it's gone. Yeah,
you missed the war, did you?
Yeah, missed the war, did you? Yeah.
Interesting, right? Because now she doesn't know what they know, because that's what she's thinking, right? Because she's all interesting.
Yeah, I don't know if anybody said the Onyx Cinder in the show.
Why do we know?
Lego.
That's right.
Yeah, the Lego is out.
Because the only one that would know would be SM-33.
Mm-hmm.
I like it's a black cinder or onyx, like the black pearl type of thing, right?
Yeah.
Just a little bit different, or Crimson Jack instead of Captain Jack.
I'm sure that's going to be a plot point, though. I'm sure like Jod's going to know about it. It's like, this is the Onyx Cinder, like that's, and now it confirms. It's something like that. It's going to come out, right? So
true, because he's on a pirate. Just realized he's on a pirate ship.
Yeah. Right.
I love whenever they're flying up. Whenever they're flying up to it, and he's like, "Is that's what we're flying in?"
No, not that one.
Not that one.
Yeah. They had shit on, like the dust was still floating off of it. Like the detail on that was so really neat. They had like a stink around it.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's see here. Trying to go through the comments.
Matt Logic has brought up a couple of good ones, right? Let's see. Matt Logic said, what if the crew of the Onyx died? Only one remaining crew member who hides as the director, keeping the planet safe and hidden from wars.
That's interesting too. As a supervisor, yeah, that's it.
Because
again,
the forest is off limits, right? They're not allowed to go out into the forest.
That's right. No one that ship was undiscoverable on purpose.
Yeah. Now that's another reason why I'm kind of hanging on to there could be a little something sinister behind the government, keeping people out of places and whatnot. But
and also the fact that they had 7 or 8 planets, right? The jewels of the Old Republic. Right?
Yes.
And they said they destroyed the other.
They did. They did.
8. How the hell? Number one, did they have a Death Star? Type of thing, right? How do you destroy those planets?
Or
why not?
Were they? But you think about the fact that here I'm gonna go back to the High Republic novels, and a lot of planets were destroyed in the Great Disaster.
Right, in the Great Disaster, right?
Yeah.
But also,
but that was a disaster, not on purpose. These guys were destroyed, right?
Also,
like,
yeah, I mean, going back, the
like,
only thing I could think of as far as planet being void of, not destroyed physically, but being void of life on purpose goes back to the Old Republic game stuff where the Emperor was out there destroying planet or sucking all the life of planets, you know, and that was his ultimate goal. It's basically
or all those planets. Maybe that's why we have this X amount of species. This is the one mixing pot where they all had like a human planet, or you know, whatever the hell, not Ortolan, but you know, his planet, Neil's planet, and go around and maybe that's it. And then this is the one where they saved X amount of people from each one, put them on this one, left this one to be hidden.
Right. I guess the real question is why. What would be the purpose of the crown jewel? Like I said, those planets that they mentioned have to destroy, or they were said to be destroyed, and they are all hidden, right? At in one of them, maybe everybody's rumored to be destroyed. Who knows? There's the reason why. Like at this point, 5-6 years after Return of the Jedi, at this point, or maybe more, what would be the purpose of it? The Empire is destroyed. We have a new republic. I know, and it's not a flourishing government. It's not. It's all, you know, like all done. It's like we just got rid of the oppressors, and we're trying to find our footing as a new republic. So maybe there's not time yet. I think it's that too. That maybe the powers that be were destroyed in the whole galactic.
Yeah, you're right. Because how many times did they switch like an emperor to a chancellor type of thing, right?
Yeah.
In one of those switches, yeah, you're right. The planet just got
forgotten.
Yeah. Or removed from the archives. It was.
IG Kevin is checking in. It was said the credits were meant to be Republic, not Old Republic by the creator. Yeah. I think it was,
but at the time,
second episode or something about Republic. This is Republic era or something like that. But again, like Chris said, Republic stands,
Republic credits.
The Republic is the general term for the entire government of Star Wars. Because
no matter what time frame, they just call it the Republic. I wouldn't call it new government today because it's new.
Well, that's what I'm saying. The only time it switched was the Galactic Empire. That's the only time it switched in the rise of Palpatine. So. And then became the New Republic after, but it's always been Republic, whatever. And it's just like the Dark Ages and on Earth. They didn't call it the Dark Ages as they were living in it. You know what I mean? It was like,
well, we're in medieval times.
Yeah, exactly. I can't wait till we get to the Bronze era.
Commander Blood definitely still serves an active purpose.
That's the question, right?
And I think, I think it makes more sense in my head is the powerful Oz at the helm trying to keep it in line as his benefit, or maybe he's
for the planet or the Republic or the Empire,
or something where he still is in the war. He's still in battle with something, keeping this planet. And then again, it became a legend into myth and all that stuff for the pirates, right? So
maybe it's even related to the Sith Grand Plan. Bless you.
There is a lot of
or it's like an arc. It's a giant arc.
Oh. Yeah, we're only in one little section. Again, like what Ernie said, it could be on this big floating turtle, and we're on a turtle shell.
They saved a couple of everybody and whatever in case the whole galaxy, whatever war they were about to get into during whatever republic.
Yeah, right? Maybe this whole thing is not a planet. Maybe it's just a ship. It's like, and it's just a hologram.
Well,
it's the Truman Show, right?
I think it's a planet, but I think the purpose is as an arc.
Yeah.
It's Truman Show. I would love that.
Right? Like, everything is hidden. There was some speculations, and I didn't read too much into it out there, but I did see a lot of like Palpatine connections, Sith connections, something like that. People were trying to make that argument. Again, I haven't explored it, so I might do that to the next time we get together and see where they're coming from and see if it makes any sense, especially when next week's episode drops. But as far as the show, I think we're all agreed that. I think this is cool. I agree, man. And again, I implore everyone to watch it and support it. If you like it, support it. If you don't like it, then that's fine. Again, no one's going to change anybody's mind. But I think not only as people that study these things are paying attention, Disney's paying attention to numbers. You know what I mean? And if it works, and they don't see it working, they're not going to do any more of that kind of stuff. They'll start experimenting again, and I don't think we want that anymore. We're like,
This is when they have to pay attention a little bit to what everybody's saying, and they have to know. They notice the temperature on this one. The pulse is way better.
Yeah. Someone did mention too, like, if are we at the point where if it doesn't have a Skywalker connection, it just doesn't work. You know what I mean? And that's not this time, right? Yeah.
But I mean, at this point, though, if you look at the general consensus of everybody online, right, in the different social media camps, nobody is blatantly saying this is shit, this is crap, this is garbage, this is awful, this is terrible, this is terrible writing. Nobody is saying that. So whether or not the numbers are where they want the numbers to be, the word on the street is nobody's bitching about it, right?
And that's how you get everybody back next time. Just stay on the same path, and you'll start growing again.
Yeah, and that's where. That's where you got to be careful, right? Because that we're not viewers, but Disney, but Lucasfilm. Because if they see it on what's on paper and they revert back to something else, when everybody comes back, like this is you got me back for this, you know what I mean? Something that they reverted back to or whatever. So,
but you've also got to make sure you don't keep doing the same thing, right? We said before, like Taika Waititi, right? Thor Ragnarok worked, so they brought him back to do another one. It didn't work because it was the same joke over and over and over again, right?
Yeah.
And that you kind of run the risk. You've got to be able to push the boundaries and make something a little bit different, right? So,
that too. You can't just rely. You can't just make like I said before. You can't just make 7 of these shows back to back, because then it becomes like, all right, what's not fresh anymore, just like what Felipe is checking and saying, I appreciate they are doing something very new. And that's the key. They're doing this. It's going to live in our archives. It's going to be on our shelf. If they do it in the manner of the feel, the nostalgia, the cinematic, again, remember what we said, this should be ground zero for everything moving forward. Everything moving forward should be better than this.
This should be the bar. All quality should touch this and nothing
exactly
else.
And it goes for everything, music, everything. It just kind of that should be where the standards of Star Wars is, and I think people are recognizing that, where it's like, all right, Star Wars, this got the attention of or the it deserves to have that stamp on it. It deserves to have Star Wars title on it. You know what I mean?
I like did you hear the talk about season 2, how they have a plan if they go that route?
No.
How it would time jump, that they won't. They said they don't want to get caught in a Stranger Things loop or problem where the kids are way too old for what they.
I guess that if at this type of show, if you're going to make that decision, you make it now.
They made it now, so all the writing They already know when the production would take place and when it would air, so they know what age to write the kids as.
Got it.
So they said they already have it planned out if they're able to do it, and I would think 3 episodes in, green light it. Right.
Yeah. Here's the thing, right? And we don't know if there's a story there, then go for it, but don't force it. Like, don't.
There wasn't a story here, and they made one.
That's true. Yeah, it's true. Like I said, we don't know what the rest what they have planned, what's really going to open up. Like what the skeleton crew story. Maybe it's not worth it to get, and that's what my whole point is. Like, is the planet going to be something where I don't want the kids to be back at home? You know what I mean? So we'll see that. Let's hit the chat up real fast.
Last thing.
Yeah.
The disappointment level in Carson Teva not being the X-Wing
Oh,
pilot.
yeah. I was like, because even on the over the radio, I was like, that's his voice. That's him.
I kept thinking, is it? And then I'm like, come on.
Yeah.
I even had to pause it and go look. Come on.
Who the hell is this Joker?
Well, we only saw one X-Wing or one pilot.
Yeah, he could have been in the other one.
Yeah. It's the other one.
Why is this guy talking if Carson's there?
Yeah.
Because it's not the time frame we think it is yet.
Yeah.
Wow. Actually, if they do this, like I talked about it last week, is if they did this before the Mandalorian stuff happens, right? Then they can time season 2 to land during the movie.
You're right. Well, that's
why Vane would be. This is pre-Mandalorian, Gordian Shard or whatever.
It really confused the hell out of everybody. But
this doesn't matter right now, right? It doesn't matter at all.
No, not right now. IG Kevin, we need more risque in Star Wars, like arms cut off with blood again, or a bit real scary moments.
I'm taking the G right now. like I said, somebody said in here a minute ago, a little palate cleansing after Acolyte, and because Acolyte was super violent too.
No, it was.
There was plenty of good shit in it.
This has levity and comedy that Star Wars couldn't deliver. Meaning droids
the kids' timings are
and the kids' timing. Yeah.
We've gone from PG-13 Star Wars. We're back to PG Star Wars, right? We're back to the classic original trilogy, PG.
Yeah.
Here's a swear word here. Here's a little bit of blood here. Here's a skeleton. Ooh, scary. But
as long as it just doesn't become goofy, and we're good.
Right. Right.
And I think it's as goofy as it's going to get.
That's what I'm saying.
Neil's goofy as hell, but he's
that's what I'm saying.
It's me too, or 33 as well.
Yeah, it's working, and I don't see them going overboard. So
not yet.
The Commander Bly, they know they needed a win. This could be it. It's definitely right now a win. It's just that it's not going to be a win if no one's watching it. In if the people are watching are enjoying it, but if it's not accepted by the masses, and we know this by Solo. To us, Solo was a win, but it wasn't a huge win. But nobody really, not say nobody, a lot of people slept on it, and there's still a lot of people that I know that haven't watched it. They just like, oh, it's in that era where blah blah. I don't want to watch it. I refuse to watch it, even though this is better than Solo in my opinion. But it's that kind of feel, right? So if we need people to watch it, that's all.
3 episodes in, this is Mando level.
Yeah. Like Mando Mike, we need a palate cleanser after that last shit on the golden platter was served. Yeah. There's a lot to be said about that. We'll see. Commander Bly, maybe Rune Johnson will be given season 2 and make all of season 1 a dream. Erase everything that could happen.
No, it's all exists. Never go
away. I don't want that.
Never
Stop
go away.
That's
we have to live with it.
Oh,
and resistance.
All right, guys.
I do think we're in the same. I think we're in post Mandalorian season 3. I think we're after that. I don't think there's any weird time shifts happening here. I don't think we're going to come across Grogu or any of that.
I think it's going to be a safe show in that regards, meaning like.
I'm sure Carson was going to be the link.
I did too, and it
still could be.
And it's a very easy link that doesn't destroy or doesn't really overcomplicate things. It's just.
He patrols the outer rim.
Yeah,
that's what he does.
Yeah. So, well, that's cool. Well, let's wrap it up. Let's get out of here. Vane is there's again familiar characters, but it's the grand story. It's the overall.
Again, remember though, Vane is the link.
Yeah,
but Vane can look the same before or after. It doesn't matter.
He didn't change.
Pretty underutilized so far. He was in like one major scene in the second episode, and he really hasn't made that many appearances since. So.
And I would feel less powerful or less dynamic of a character means this is a pre-dynamic.
Right.
He was more dynamic in the other one, right? That's where it puts me.
I think there's valid points on.
But it could be either. It doesn't really matter unless they're planning on using them a little bit older later with those guys.
Right.
If you're going to mix it, Neil doesn't matter either. It's the other ones, right?
Yeah. Exactly.
And yes, in that last comment, yes, he could still be alive in this show if we're a little bit
on Chris's theory. If it's a prequel, basically a prequel to the Mandalorian series that propelled the pirates going to Navarro and all that stuff, then you have season 2 that goes into the Mando Grogu movie. The kids, the characters, right, get introduced and stuff. But the
question from Hellrunner for our audio listeners, the question was. Gorian Shard would still be alive if this is pre-Mando. Yes. So,
Hellrun, I was Gorian. Sorry, Commander. I was hoping to see Cara Dune in one of those X-wings.
Yeah, you're mine. Well, if this is pre-Mando, couldn't they? No, never mind.
Yeah. Oh well.
Forget all that.
Yeah, well, she's gonna get her job back. By the way, she's gonna get something, and we'll see if the what was it, the Rangers of the Republic is back in work. Yeah. All right, guys. Well, let's get out of here. We'll do this again next week, of course, when episode 4 drops, and we're gonna do this again. Thank you, everybody, for your theories and the compliments and all that stuff, and just kind of conversing with us tonight as we wrap up episode 3, and of course any other Star Wars news and the return of Stinky. If you don't know who Stinky is, I I'm kind of jealous that you don't know. So because that's
But
one.
boy, are you in for a story?
Yeah, what?
You go watch it. Scott's recommendation.
I tried, dude. I really tried. Not too long ago too, and I just like this. I almost walked out. I almost walked out of the theater watching this in the theater, just because I was like, I was like, what is this? Like, what are we doing here?
I remember.
I didn't like Ahsoka. I didn't like anything.
I didn't like her at all.
Yeah, I didn't like the movie at all, and that's probably why I was apprehensive on Clone Wars, show also.
Yeah,
because of that movie.
Yeah,
but man, did they grow into their characters though?
They did.
Ahsoka
they
ended up
fixed
being
it.
one of the greatest characters out there. So
they fixed it.
Yeah,
yeah. I'm very dark side, but Ahsoka is
Commander Bly. Looking forward to seeing Stinky. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what they do and how they do it. But
or is that just a play?
Could be. Again, it's rumored.
He's going to be Roto the Hutt, and that's how it is. But it's really he's going to be something.
It's later. And that gets it. Caveat of a rumored. This is a rumor. So
he's Jorah. He's Sabaoth, and they just don't want to play it up. And
very young.
Let's go, man! Like, come on.
He's a clone.
That's where I'm. Yeah, that's where I'm. Like. Yeah. Let's go, dude. Like, come on, let's move the story along.
Let's make this happen.
Let's go. We got enough time here, All right, let's get out of here for sure. Everybody check out, of course, like and subscribe if you haven't. So I will try to fix that link on Discord to try to get a proper link. Anybody wants to join our Starlight Digest Discord to keep the conversation going. But we also have our Facebook, Instagram, wherever. Just type in Starlight Digest. And we'll pop in. We'll keep the conversation going, especially in the comment section below. When Mando Mike is going to check the replay crew and drop some more comments. We'll be in there conversing like we always do. So everybody, thank you so much. Scott, you can find him on the Art of Scott Solo on Instagram and here, of course. And Grand Admiral Franz, you can find him right here every Wednesday.
And my cell phone number is 760.
Yeah. He lives on 222. It's docks the hell out of him. So,
my phone number used to be Big Chris, but it's not anymore. So
yeah,
you're not making it difficult for people to find you, though. I mean, you just said your first name, your last name's out there, and you gave your area code, and
we've said Victorville.
And hunt him down.
Yeah, right.
Christmas decorations.
I got a stealth thing around the house. Nobody's getting near me. We're good.
Yeah, Commander Bly, I will get that to you. I will get that in the description. I'll fix that. I'll find it. Right now, it's giving me this big wall of text, and I don't know why. So it worked before, now it's not working. So Discord, whatever. I'll make sure that does get fixed. But the Fallen Fett should be back next week. We'll see. I know he hit 600, but we're still celebrating the 5. It's all about the 5, the big 5. Anybody who's interested in toys, we dropped our toy chest, the last toy chest of the year, this last Monday. But you can always watch on the replay and see the best and worst of Star Wars collectibles that went on for this year. And we look forward to a whole nother season of toys coming out next year, especially with the Hot Toys stuff. Because again, Hot Toys is taking over.
And real quick, post toy chest drop. We had a post toy chest drop of an Heir to the Empire Vintage Collection 3-pack and a Shadows of the Empire 2-pack in Black Series. So both are available for a pre-order right now. All you got to do is go to Hasbro Pulse and you can pre-order them there.
Yes.
I think they're also fan channel exclusives, right? Is it?
I think it's just Pulse.
Is it just Pulse?
Okay. Yeah, because I didn't see it on Big Bad or anything. I think it's just Pulse.
See, nostalgia grabs. Heir to the Empire and Shadows.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, really, we're
hitting
the tube.
And that Heir to the Empire set is incredible. So
yeah.
Yes.
I'm not going to say anything about the Shadow set because I'm pretty pissed off. But if you want to know why, go to Instagram. You'll find. I'm trying to get a petition going.
There we go. Pulse and Disney Store, dude. You were calling out Mr. Stevie.
Yeah. I'm tired of this crap, man. Like it's just this. They basically they put out Leia Bosch and the Imperial Guard Luke on this 2-pack. We just got the archive Leia Bosch. And this is our 3rd version of her. Why not just put Luke out as a single package? She's on clearance shelves all over the place. All they did is they
or with flat top Chewie,
or flat top Chewie, or just a single pack. Just let me buy Luke for $24.99. I don't want to pay $50 just for the Luke and have 3 Leia Bosch.
Who was he with in the old 2-pack?
Luke was with He was an individually carded figure.
He was individually
Remember that?
carded.
He didn't have a 2-pack as well.
I
No.
thought it came out with a
There was
comic 2-pack. No,
There was a comic 2-pack that was Boba Fett versus IG-88 and Prince Shizor versus
and
Darth
Vader.
Vader.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Oh,
those
yeah.
were the two. Jesus, I can't remember what I did yesterday, but I can remember something from 1996. That
Yeah,
I didn't buy.
I don't know why I thought there was. I remember those two. I don't know why I thought there was a Luke one, but obviously since we don't remember those, we remember those two quite clearly.
yeah,
Not the other
yeah.
one.
How runner, please do, because you know what? Again, all I wanted was a clarification. Is that Luke going to be individually sold as an individual mainline figure? That's all. Yes or no? Because I'm not buying it. It was out one today. I'm not buying a 2-pack. I don't want to pay $50.
That right there.
Exactly, Rhino Honeybee. I'm not buying another. I'm just not doing it. I'm taking a stand. And who cares? I don't care anymore. Like, if I don't get that Luke, I don't get him. I'm not gonna bend to their rules anymore.
She has a new portrait. And
it's honestly, it's worse than the archive. It does not. The archive looks more like Carrie Fisher than this new head sculpt. I saw an up close comparison, and it's the same pin leg, the horrible body that she got. It's not even a brand new. Like, oh, get me started. It's a bad decision.
It is, but they're out there if you are interested in buying them. The vintage collection set is awesome. It's got Captain Paleon. It's got Thrawn from the comic book and the book where he's got the big, forget what you call them, the epaulets. Is that what they're called? The shoulder pads that are big gold shoulder pads. And he has Salamiri that goes around his neck.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
Jorah Sabaoth too. So it's the first time ever the Paleon and Sabaoth are on carded.
I was pretty mad that Pelion is not getting a Black Series because
not yet.
I would immediately have that.
Yeah, not yet.
Yeah.
I would assume he's coming.
The Sabaoth, I had to buy the air
4-pack.
I don't even know what the other figures were. I can't remember.
It was
there were two
Luke's,
Lukes.
Mara Jade,
Luke. Yeah,
and Luke. Yeah,
there was two Lukes there. Yeah,
Mara Jade was in there. That's right.
Yeah,
but I only cared about Sabaoth.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Commander Bly, I hope so. Hope they single pack them because that would solve all my person. Not just me. A lot of people had that same sentiment online and calling them out like that. But again, I just asked the question: like, are you going to do this, and what makes you this decision? So anybody wants to buy that 2-pack and wants to sell me the Luke, I'll pay $35 for it. You know what I mean? I'm not paying $50. That's all.
It's a cool looking figure. Yep, the Ghost. The label has been made for the Ghost. It's coming probably when I'm in Texas next week.
Yeah, but maybe I'll get a surprise toy chest opening when you get back from Texas.
Hey.
And if you need me to swing by your house and pick it up, I'll go do that. So
I might need that.
Yeah, it's serious. Like
50 pounds. 50 pounds is what it's rated at right now, according to the label.
I can't do that. All right, guys.
I'll come help you.
Yeah, I need Chris to come help. Like, get our back braces on. It's like. All right. Again, for all your figure stands needs and displays and all that stuff, Tashi Station Emporium. The link is in the description below for the YouTube channel. Learn all about 3D printing and all the crazy projects that we got going on. So check that out. And I think we're done. Again, thank you, everybody. With that, Scott, you're welcome, Chris. Thank you, Chris. With that, Scott,
keep it nerdy, everybody.
This is Grand Admiral Thrawn. You are listening to the Sarlacc Digest. What a fascinating play on words.